better be good. This is the pastor's report for Saturday, June 13, 2020. If you like these videos, let me know in the comments below. I think it's important for us as a parish to have an online presence because this is where so many people are now. That was the case before COVID-19, and it will be the case after it too. So leave your comments below, subscribe to the channel so that we can spread the word. Eventually I'd like to involve more people in this, especially when we are able to start having parish events again. That way you don't get tired of seeing me all the time on here. So the week ahead is a pretty quiet one. Just a couple of things to let you know about. Father's Day Mass Novena cards are still available in the main vestibule this weekend. Intentions will be included in our Father's Day Mass Novena, which will begin on, of course, Father's Day, June 21. Suggested donation is $10. Next Saturday, June 20, there will be no 8 a.m. Mass and no morning confessions. We will be having our second of two First Communion Masses that day. Now, speaking of First Communions, I'd like to say congratulations to all of our children who are receiving their first Holy Communion this month. We have 23 children altogether this year. They've been waiting patiently for this day. First Communion was originally scheduled for the end of April, but of course that and everything else was postponed. But thankfully, we are now able to have our First Communion celebrations. We still have some catching up to do for our RCIA candidates and our confirmation students, so hopefully we can get to those soon. And thanks again to all of you, too, for being so patient. I also want to say congratulations to our fifth graders. This past Friday, we celebrated with them our annual Moving Up Mass. We call it Moving Up because they are moving up to the sixth grade at other schools because they are graduating from our school. Now, usually the Moving Up Mass happens the week before the last week of the school year, but that too was postponed. But I'm just glad that we were able to do this for our fifth graders. There were so many things that they weren't able to do as fifth graders, but I'm glad that we were able to have our special Mass with them. Now, some of our fifth graders have been here for a couple of years. Some have been here since preschool. We've watched them grow up, not only physically, but spiritually as well. And while we are sad to see them go, we know that they will continue to do great things moving forward. It's also sometimes the case where the child who is graduating from our school is the youngest of a family. And so we have to say goodbye to that family as well. Of course, we will continue to see them at church on Sundays, but we'll miss them at our school. One of the great things about our school is the community. Our school is truly a family. And I would encourage you, if you've ever thought about checking out our school, give them a call, schedule an appointment, and see what it is all about. I promise that you will walk away impressed. The school is taking enrollment applications now, so please call the school office to find out how you can schedule an appointment. So what else happened this week? Well, of course, we had our annual kindergarten graduation. This also was postponed, but there was no way that we couldn't have our kindergarten graduation, was there? That's always a fun time. The children dress up in caps and gowns, and they walk like in a graduation ceremony. And it's a big deal that they've completed their first full year in school, and thankfully we were able to celebrate that with them. So that's everything going on at the parish this week. How about Canon Law? What's an interesting Canon Law tidbit that we can talk about today? Well, one of the classes that I'm taking right now is called Structures of Particular Churches. So what, you may ask, is a particular church? Well, you have the universal church, which is the Church of Christ. You have the Catholic Church, in which the Church of Christ fully exists. In fact, the word Catholic means universal. You have other faith communities in which the Church of Christ exists partially. You have some faith communities, for example, whose baptism the Catholic Church recognizes as valid. So, to that extent, we say that the Church of Christ exists somewhat in those faith communities. Another way that we say this is that there is some truth that can be found in other faith traditions, but it is only in the Catholic Church that the Church of Christ is fully present. The Catholic Church presents the fullness of truth. And then you have particular churches in which that Catholic Church exists in practice. For example, dioceses. A diocese is a particular instance of the Catholic Church where the Catholic Church functions. There are other entities that we call particular churches other than dioceses, but that's the one that we are most familiar with. Now, every diocese has a structure, and it is those structures that we are studying in this class. So, elements of that structure. Well, you have, of course, a diocesan bishop. You have what is called a curia. The curia assists the bishop in the governance of the diocese. When we learn about American government, we learn about the three branches, right? You have the legislative branch, the executive, and judicial. Legislative resides with the Congress. Executive resides with the president, his cabinet, and so forth. And then you have judicial, which refers to the Supreme Court and other courts. Well, in the diocese, those three branches also exist, but in the case of the diocese, they all reside in the bishop. So the bishop is the chief legislator. In fact, this is a power that he cannot delegate. The bishop is the only legislator in a diocese. He is also the chief judge. There is a judicial vicar or tribunal or judges who can exercise the judicial power of the bishop, and oftentimes the bishop will delegate that, but he always remains the first judge. He is also, of course, the chief executive. In fact, I think when people think of the bishop, this is the way most people think of him, as the chief executive. But he has people like a vicar general or episcopal vicars who hold executive power in the name of the bishop. They have executive power vicariously. And so when they exercise that power, they have the right to do so, but they do so in the name of the bishop. So that's kind of, in a nutshell, structures of the particular church. Hopefully I explained all of that correctly. We'll find out in my final exam. I'm actually already halfway through my first two classes. I have my first two case studies to write out due Monday, so you know what I'll be doing this weekend. And if you remember, please say a prayer for me. Now, people have been asking about the families of parishes. Honestly, I don't know anything more about it. We have a meeting with all the priests of the diocese at the end of the month, and it's the first of our monthly meetings. The way that it's supposed to go, as I understand it, is that from now until Advent, we are going to figure out what the groupings of parishes are. I don't know how those discussions are going to go, what criteria they are going to use. Hopefully we'll find out at the end of the month, but I will keep you posted. But please continue to pray. I know that there is a lot of anxiety out there about that, but we've been getting a lot of assurances from the diocese, so hopefully all of our concerns will be heard. Now, attendance at Mass last weekend was up slightly, so that was exciting. I hope it continues to trend that way because it is great to see all of you. And so I hope to see you again this weekend. So until next time, have a great week, and I'll see you soon. God bless you.